everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. Beginner series, going to go over duty officers. So there's duty officers that are actually designed for that duty, right? Like they have a special skill. So if we look at, I'll go over a couple of mine right here, and then I'll go into cultivating, and then I'll go into prioritizing them. So like right here, rally spot officer, and then if you look at his actual skill, his main one here, it will say increase march size by 5%, blah, 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 when is the rally spot officer. Then we'll see this guy, when general is stable officer, right? And when general is the keep officer. And then you'll find some who aren't actually duty officers, or some buildings that don't need a duty officer, a specific one, but you can use them. So all these military ones, there are specific. In fact, there's like 2 for each. So there's a premium one, then there's the slumming it, right? Down in Skid Row in LA with Johnny Portugal and Abdul El Rahman. But if you pay some big money, you get some better ones like Stilchko. Someone told me his name is Stilico. Actually, that sounds better. Anyways, you don't have to use these guys. You'll still get basic benefits. So let's look at Johnny Portugal. So because he's a super duty officer, but let's pretend he's actually just a junior officer. I'll get range troop training speed 10% and range troop training capacity 500. But then if I go find him in here, because his skill, I'm actually going to also get the 5% range attack defense and HP and training speed 20% for putting him on. Whereas if I just used Simeon, he has nothing for that building. So if I use Simeon on the archer camp, all I would get is the junior, pretending he's a junior, right? He'd probably actually rank as a super. So I'd get all the stuff here, but I wouldn't get the extra 5% for all the attacks, HP defense, and the 20%. So that's why you want to use the specific guy. But if you're early in the game and you don't have any, there's a few buildings that you might want to prioritize, right? So if we go to interior, the ones you really want to prioritize getting a duty officer, even if you don't have the specialty guy, the guy designed for the building, you want someone on your keep. And it's pretty easy early on. Like I was like maybe K24, 25, and I had a keep officer. And then I would rotate him between the academy and the keep. So it's pretty easy to get 850 politics, 800 leadership with a little bit of cultivating. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I could move that same guy over to the academy, right? So depending which one I was doing, I'd move that guy around and then I'd take him off and I'd use him for killing monsters or farming or whatever it was I wanted to do. This market, same thing. I'd use the same person. I'd throw them on the market to do my taxes in the day. And it makes a big difference. You actually get a lot more resources when you do it that way. And then I'd move the person onto Forge. And Research Factory is really not that important because, it doesn't actually lower the cost of research stones. So there's really no point, it doesn't help. It helps with the speed, I guess, if you're going to gem it. But other than that, to have them on there every single day, there's no need really. So you could rotate the people around and do that. But now I'm going to show you 2 really important things you need to know about duty officers. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is how to cultivate them. Okay, so if we look at someone here, so I'm actually super lucky that this Uliji guy so he's actually a perfect example. So if I go to cultivate him, look at this, right? He has 400 and something leadership, 400 and something politics, and then 100 attack and defense. Why is that? So let's go over here to our duty officer and let's look at, he is in the interior academy. So why is that? Because for this position, you need politics and leadership. Attack and defense don't matter at all. So that's why I cultivated him like that. And now how did I cultivate him like that? I'm going to go over to just a dummy general right here so I don't make a mistake. So we'll just grab this guy. And how do you cultivate like that? So you could use the gold button down here and just spam that, but gold kind of, and then you'd have to be really picky on which columns to work it on. But gold level at 300, it stops going up. Like it won't go past 300, these green numbers with gold. So at about 299, I think, is the last thing you can get with gold. Once it goes to 300, you can no longer use gold. But the problem also is it super slows down at around like 100. And then it becomes like 10 times you have to press it for the numbers to go green. They're usually red. So what you do is you go to cultivate, and you could click on just these two and cultivate, and it'll go up a lot. Or you could click on just one and it'll go up a lot. So I'll just show you here. And terrible example. Kind of all went up even because these low. So I'll do just the one, and look at that. Like the bottom one went up 21 because I chose on that one. But they're all going to go up pretty fast at the lower levels. But then it'll start to really target the two you want. So that's how you're going to do it. You might have to rotate back and forth and just do, one politics for like 10 times, and then do leadership a few times and make sure that those two are going up. So different strategies like that. Now, the other super important thing about duty officers is if you look at the special and the super area, they have something important here. And this is a mistake I see a lot of people make. So 3.3 million, you see that? That means your general has to have 3.3 million to be a super duty officer. Okay? So if we look at my archer tower, right? Let's do archer tower attack. So I'm going to take him off. Okay? So I'm going to put George Dewey on. And look, he's only a senior officer. Now I'm going to put Maurice Nassau on. And he's a senior officer, right? Why isn't he special? He has all the qualifications, or super, because he doesn't have the 3.1 million power. So let's find him. And we will resign him right now. And we're now going to put some equipment on him. So where'd you go? Okay, so let's put some gear on him. It doesn't matter what gear, just some random stuff. And we got to get his power over 3.1 million. So right there, 3.2. We'll put something else on him just for fun. So he's 3.8 million. So now let's assign him to a duty. He's now super archer tower officer. And now I'm going to take all that gear off of him. This is the mistake I've seen people make. They leave it on them, and then they have to craft new gear because they don't know you could take it off of him. You only need it to put on to achieve that super or special duty officer. So now it's off, and now let's go into the duty officer. And there he is. He's still a super duty officer. Now, one mistake I made really early on too. So I came from Evony Age 1. Some people are going to laugh at this and find this funny. And some people are going to be like, you know what? That actually makes sense if you came from Evony in the year 2005 and you played the browser-based Evony. So archer towers were so powerful. Like they were the most powerful defensive weapon in the game. And they didn't die. So in this game, you use archer towers, you build them, and they die. With one fire, they die. Anyways, you also have these archer towers, right? Your permanent ones. I didn't know any of this when I was playing. But when I started and I'd go to Battlefield, I only had one guy who had enough defense and attack to be on either my wall or my archer tower. And I remember being like, you know what? I got to put him on the archer tower because archer towers are the most powerful thing in defense, according to my mind, in 2005 and 6 in Evony, browser-based. So I would go with an archer tower general and not a wall general into Battlefield for a little while because I just didn't know that, you know what, the archer tower doesn't actually work that well on defense, and your defense general actually does matter. Anyways, probably wouldn't have mattered anyways because I was using that purple guy that you get when you start the game, and he's good at gathering and mounted troop attack. And so anyways, let me know anything else about duty officers. Let people know in the comments. Please pass this information on. This is a big mistake, especially leaving the gear on after you get the power on him to be a senior or a super duty officer. So again, guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment.